Roxo Media House.
From the Roxo Media House studios here in Fort Worth, this is Frogs Today. We got to start with number 7 ranked women's soccer who won the Big 12 regular season and as the number 1 seed looked to win the Big 12 Tournament after a win over BYU in the semifinals and take on number 6 Kansas tomorrow at CPKC Stadium in Kansas City tomorrow at 7 p.m. The NCAA selection show is Monday at 3 p.m. on ncaa.com. Volleyball continues their consistent play, ranked number 18 in the country and sits at number 13 in the RPI with a win at home over UCF yesterday with number 8 ranked Kansas up next Wednesday. Football is back in the Carter tomorrow night against Oklahoma State at 6 p.m. The Cowboys are winless in the Big 12 and the Frogs look to get back on track after losing to Baylor on a field goal in the final seconds in Waco last week. Men's and women's basketball opened their seasons with dominating wins over Florida A&M and Houston Christian. To add to the excitement of hoops kicking off, the men defeated number 16 ranked Arkansas in an exhibition at Dickies Arena, and women's basketball has a new fan as baby Gronk was in attendance on Tuesday evening to watch the ladies. Men's golf returned from Hawaii with their best performance of the year, finishing in a tie for 6th at the Kaanapali Classic with Jack Beauchamp leading the way with a career-best 12-under finish in 7th place overall. It's Friday, November 8th, and I'm your host, Kirstin Angosta from the women's golf team.
And I'm Gracie McGovern with TCU Women's Golf as well. Lots of exciting news in the world of TCU sports for sure, with Triathlon finishing up their season in the National Championships right now in Clermont, Florida. We visited with head coach Jenny Garrison before they headed to Natty's.
Men's tennis is at the Purple Courts looking for more individuals to qualify for the NCAA Individual National Championships and the ITAs Central Sectional Championships, the first time the team has served it up at home since they won the national championship in the spring.
The women are in Ann Arbor, Michigan, looking for their last chance to qualify for the NCAAs as well. Over to the sand, our beach volleyball girls are getting ready for ATVA Pairs National Championships next weekend in Huntsville, Alabama, where Ann-Lena Camille and Haley Hamlet look to defend their gold from last season.
Rifle with their home opening win over Nebraska last weekend with 12 shooters with career highs and 7 of the top 10 aggregate scores led by Katie Zahn. They have won 3 of their 4 matches this year. Next up for the ladies is this Sunday in Colorado Springs against Alaska Fairbanks. We start with football, women's soccer, and volleyball when we return, but first, a word from our sponsor, Richard's Rainwater.
The best tasting water comes straight from the sky, leaving just pure, refreshing raindrops in every bottle. Taste the difference, sip the sky.
What do you see when you look up at the clouds? At Richard's Rainwater, we see the greatest source of pure, delicious water looking right back down at us. We've invented a simple, powerful technology to collect and bottle rainwater. Our process begins with the rain. When clouds become saturated, droplets fall from the sky. Rainfall is a naturally cleansing event. During the first few minutes, the raindrops clean the atmosphere and wash away any dirt or debris from surface areas. At this cleanest point in the rain cycle, we collect the pure raindrops into large storage vessels. Then, we use a simple, yet effective combination of ozone and microfiltration to ensure our rainwater surpasses the highest drinking water standards. We pour the pure, refreshing rainwater into glass bottles and aluminum cans, packaging as infinitely renewable as the water itself. Richard's Rainwater is building a network of collection systems across the country to ensure our rainwater is local everywhere. The purest, best-tasting water comes from the sky. Richard's Rainwater, sip the sky.
We are back in the Roxo Media House studios here in Fort Worth, and I'm your host, Kirstin Angosta, sophomore with the TCU women's golf team. Our fall season has wrapped up. Even though we won't be taking a real break, we have a little more time to support our fellow Frogs before we get going again in the spring. And that starts with football tomorrow night in the Carter. Max Carroll and Trent Battle met with the media this week after losing out to the Baylor Bears on a game-winning field goal as time expired.
I think the biggest thing is just taking it to practice and every day just busting our tails in practice, learning, keep growing, and get better and perfecting our craft. That's all we can do. Win or lose, you just got to go into practice and get after each other and get better each and every day.
We try to stay out of the press clippings and stuff. We try to stay out of Like, we try to kind of work on what we can work on to improve. We try not to. We know that obviously we're not happy with the production that we've put up this year. We know that the numbers haven't looked great. But, I mean, we're trying week in, week out. We're looking at watching the film. We're seeing what we could have done better. We're seeing where we did good things. We're seeing where we did bad things. We're trying to take each play and figure out how we can do better, what we can do differently to try and make something more, make something like bigger happen. But at the same time, we're trying to stay within ourselves, because when you kind of get outside of yourself or try to make something happen when there's nothing there, that's when you either get hurt or something bad happens. So it's kind of a happy medium between just sticking our heads down, like not trying to listen to too much outside noise, and as a group coming together and trying to make something happen and working our butts off every day.
Head coach Sonny Dykes on his State of the Frogs coaches show this week talked about the loss.
Tough way to end the game. A good football game. Two teams played really hard. Baylor was probably playing about as well as anybody in the league the last couple of weeks. They had a big win against Oklahoma State, and then went to Lubbock and put it on Texas Tech pretty good. So they had a lot of confidence, and they were playing well. The quarterback was really kind of starting to come into his own. And, it's just one of those games that we talked to our players about it going in. We thought it'd really come down to the team that turned the ball over, which neither team did. We had opportunities to intercept a couple of balls, got the quarterback to fumble once, and it bounced right back to him. We did a really good job offensively of taking care of the ball, and the difference in a lot of these Big 12 games, you look at our game the week before against Texas Tech, they're driving to try to kick a game-winning field goal, and we create a turnover. And we weren't able to do that, didn't get off the field on a fourth down right there, that if we stop them there, then, we're throwing two passes and hopefully lining up to kick a game winner. And so, these games kind of boil down to one or two key plays, and the week before against Tech we made them, and this week we didn't. So Baylor, I thought, really played well, and like I said, they didn't turn the ball over, and ran the football well, and we got a little bit beat up on our defensive front, and lost Marcus Steele during the week, and lost Akeem early in the game, and so had to play some young players up there, and maybe some guys that we didn't want them to get their first experience playing in a game like that, but proud of the way the guys played. We played hard. We played well enough to win. Like I said, we just didn't get it done down the stretch.
Turning the page to Oklahoma State, the Big 12 Conference continues to be the most competitive football conference regarding the parity, where this thing could come down to the very last week of the season.
It's just it's a crazy time right now in the Big 12, and everybody's pretty good, and anybody can beat anybody on any Saturday. So it's kind of that way across college football. If you look around the landscape of college football, there's no undefeated teams in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, there's just very few teams that aren't getting knocked off week after week, and so it's very competitive. It's an interesting time right now for college football, I think, because of the transfer portal, and it's kind of even a lot of things out.
The 3-6 Oklahoma State Cowboys are winless in the Big 12 at 0-6, but when you watch the tape, they are better than the results say.
Yeah, it's a big football game, important game for our program. We got a chance to get bowl eligible, go to a bowl game. I think it would be our second bowl appearance since 2019, which would be big for our program, just to get those extra opportunities to practice. And so that part's obviously important. It's important to our players. These guys want to have a great season, and we want to end strong. This is a good football team we're playing. They haven't played very well. They've lost 6 games in a row, but you turn the film on, and it's basically the same team that played in the Pac-12 or the Big 12 Championship game last year. I mean, it's pretty amazing. They've got the running back back. I think 4 of the 5 offensive linemen, got the quarterback back, receivers back. On an offense, it was one of the best in the Big 12 last season. And then you've got a defense that's really big up front, a bunch of guys that can run on the back end, really solid on special teams, great return game. You have a team that's a very, very dangerous football team, and have been in every single game virtually this season at halftime. Did a great job early rallying and beating Arkansas. West Virginia is the only game that they played really this year that they weren't in the game in the fourth quarter. BYU had to rally late to beat them in Provo. So it's a very, very capable football team, a team that, again, when you look at the tape, you would expect that they would be right in the hunt for the Big 12 Championship, and such just the way it is.
The Frogs kick off right here at the Carter tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Our Frogs Today pregame show airs at 4:30 p.m. live from the Moncrief Club in the South End Zone, featuring athletic director Jeremiah Donati and baseball head coach Kirk Sarlos. Volleyball continues to roll with another win over UCF last night in the Schollmeyer, improving to 17-5 and 9-3 in the conference. Head coach Jason Williams after the win.
Yeah, no, I think, we talked about it, right? We want to still play at a championship level, even though UCF is dealing with injuries and they're struggling a little bit. But obviously, those who watched their really big team, offensively, they were pretty good tonight. But luckily, offensively, we were better.
With a 2-game road swing at Kansas and Kansas State next week, the team talks about last night's performance leading into number 8 Kansas.
The things that we've been talking about is like playing like our way and making sure that we're just getting here, taking care of business from point one, and making sure that, you know, it looks like TCU volleyball out there because we have big games next week. So we want to, you know, start doing that right now and then make sure it just kind of rolls into next week. So yeah, taking care of them quick was kind of the plan tonight.
Yeah, I mean, going off of what she said, we're preparing for 2 really good Kansas teams, and I think tonight was a chance to start preparing for that. So I think that's what we were doing, and we knew we were going to take care of this game.
One of the biggest things with this team is there's so much buy-in this year. You can kind of see in everyone's eyes. Like, everyone comes into practice ready to go, and like consistency in practice is a big thing. Like, everyone's consistent day in and day out. Everyone's the same amount of coachable, the same amount of willingness and ready to just like attack every practice. And then I think that comes to the games too. So there's just like this overall sense of pride for the program that's so much bigger this year.
I think that's a big thing, consistency. We have a lot of consistent players, which is kind of our game, and that's the stuff we do in practice. I think a lot of our drills are about consistency and about playing the same way all the time, and I think that's what we're going to need going into postseason is being good all the time. So that's one of our biggest things to focus on.
And we talk about like the whole season's a mountain, so this is a big step on the mountain, and so going on the road to any Big 12 match is always a big deal. So I don't know. I think it's exciting. I think we bring our best when the best is brought to us. So I think Kansas is going to bring everything that they have, especially just coming off of a loss from Arizona State. So it's going to be a tough match, a gritty match. But I think when we're presented with opportunities to give our best, like we always bring our best.
I don't want to say time is running out, but it is. So we need to play like it's our last game of the season every time. I think just taking advantage of the opportunity we have and really going after it.
We need to be playing postseason volleyball starting now. We need to start getting comfortable playing postseason volleyball like today, tomorrow in the gym, and then so once it's here, like we're comfortable with it and we're ready for like the big pressure moments, the tough serves, the tough passes, and just kind of getting used to how that's going to feel so that we're ready for it in December.
The team, for the most part, is taking it one game at a time, but as a coach, Williams has to look ahead and has been looking ahead to Kansas for a while.
They've just got some consistency on the pins. Their outsides are, you know, 4th, 5th years, so a lot of experience. Their setter's really good. Their ball control is solid. And they've got a couple of middles that are pretty high impact, high influence. So, you know, Arizona State beat them at home last night, but they're still a really good team. So to beat them on the road, we're going to have another special night. If we get back to our speed, right, and then they're still going to put a lot of emphasis on Melanie. And so if we can just get a little bit of help, Jalen's been, you know, great the last few matches. So if we can get more than just Jalen and Melanie, then I think we can just kind of punch back and forth with them. And then, like I said, we're just going to have to make some special plays to be able to beat them. No, this is for sure like, yeah, either a conference championship type match or a 2nd or 3rd round tournament match, you know, for NCAA. So, yeah, it's going to be the last tough match we play. I mean, other teams are going to still be tough, but not the same, you know, level of play as Kansas. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. I wish we were playing them at home, but I like that we can go there, play them. K-State is playing really well right now, and yeah, leave Kansas in whatever happens, but just leave it in a situation where now we're just focusing on, if we're playing tournament level volleyball, we'll get through the next 4 matches.
Next week, the team travels north to take on Kansas on Wednesday and Kansas State on Friday. Speaking of Kansas, our women's soccer team is on to the Big 12 Tournament Championship match at the CPKC Stadium, home of the National Women's Soccer League's KC Current. They have been there since their opening quarterfinal win over Colorado last Saturday, followed up by their semifinal win over BYU on Wednesday. They take on Kansas in the championship tomorrow night. We spoke to seniors forward Cam Lancaster and goalkeeper Megan Palashko about the tournament, the team, and looking ahead to the championship match tomorrow night.
I mean, we've already been here over a week, and I think that's crazy to say, but I mean, we're also in a great area. There's like so much shopping and so much that we can walk to. But like Cam said, like honestly, most of the time we're just hanging out together, and Ryan always jokes and asks how we still have stuff to talk about, but
Yeah.
we always seem to find stuff to talk about, and it's just been like so much fun to have this like time isolated away from everything and just kind of here for soccer, here to just like continue to grow closer as a team, and I definitely think we have.
I'm kind of surprised. I feel like I haven't gotten tired of the team at all. Like it's just so we're with each other all day, but it's still just so fun and we always have things to talk about. We like something's just always going on. So it's just fun. It's never boring. And I think it's brought us closer, even though our team was close before we even got here. So it's just crazy. I didn't think that would be possible, but it's been awesome.
Like we brought it in and there was no sense of panic, no sense of like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? I think that we have so much confidence in the way that we play and what we can do as a team that it really brings us a sense of like calmness. I mean, like we have 3 girls with more than 10 goals this season. So I think in those moments it's just like really re-upping our focus and like noticing that okay, these set pieces are gonna continue to be dangerous and that's like a space that we have to be really locked in for. But like all we can do now is continue to play our game and go out there, and we still have 89, possibly like 119 minutes left to play in this game. So we just can't let that 1 minute shake us up. And I think that we had a really good response. And once we found our rhythm in the game, like we really were able to like assert our dominance on the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an awesome feeling. I think being hurt throughout like 7 games in the season, like that's obviously not ideal, especially with my senior year. So just being able to contribute with my team and help out in any way that I can, whether I'm on the bench or when I'm on the field, like it's just an awesome opportunity. And yeah, it just felt really good.
I think the one thing that's super special about this team is our ability to stick to like the way that we play no matter who we're playing. I think like our ability in our midfield and the back up top to keep the ball and like value the possession that we have. I think that that's super special about this team. And like even if we get play a team that likes to be super direct, we really go back to what we're successful at, which is just possessing the ball. We have some midfielders like I mean you've seen Oli, you've seen Cam, AJ, Mem, Mo, like I mean the list keeps going on. They just get in there and they fight like their butts off to keep the ball, help us switch the ball. I think that's really what's special is just we always go back to like what our strength is and we don't really stray from it. And it's just passing the ball around until we can find those moments. And you saw it in Colorado. It took a long time to get there, but as soon as Cam got her chance, she put it away. And I think that's just where it comes from.
Yeah, I think just continuing to fight. I think last night during the game we're up 2-1. There's BYU still putting pressure on us, and I think everyone on the bench is just yelling, keep fighting, and that's something that our team really embodies as a program, is just to keep fighting no matter like how you are. If we're down a goal, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to try and get back no matter what the time is. And so this team really just is about the fight. We've all have the confidence in each other and in ourselves to go on the field and just do what we do best, which is possess the ball and keep the ball until we get our opportunity. So just continuing to bring the fight in whether we're down, whether we're up, like just continuing to stick to the game plan.
Head coach Eric Bell speaks to the quarterfinal and semifinal wins over Colorado and BYU and what to expect out of their first meeting of the season with Kansas, who defeated number 3 West Virginia in double overtime on Wednesday.
You know, in the Colorado game, it was just kind of just staying the course. You know, I thought that the game plan, they dropped off and made it hard, right? And for us to try to break down a back 5, and there was a big portion of the game where we kind of pushed them back and have to, you know, change the point of attack and kind of probe and, you know, play in tight spaces in order to break them down, which was we didn't expect that, right? And so we had to kind of figure that out on the fly. In yesterday's game, it was more we tried to build out, and they did a good job of making it hard. And so, you know, we kind of went to a more direct kind of approach where we were playing some balls that were longer. They were purposeful when we would just play them over their front 6 into 7 or Caroline's feet or chest, and then we could have our attacking mids get up to get the ball off of them, and then off we went. And so having the technical ability to actually do that is hard, but you know, we have some good players that are able to do that, and then our back line and kind of float those balls and make them, you know, comfortable for 7 and Caroline to bring down, and then we just attacked after that. Yeah, they got a new staff, and they fight and run and work like nobody I've seen in a long time. And so credit to their staff for, you know, getting them to this point, and they believe. And so we've got to be able to, you know, bring the fight with us and compete for 50-50 balls and second balls and that stuff, and then make it into a soccer game. And if we're able to make it into a soccer game, well, then I like our chances. If it becomes this big old kicking match, well, that favors them. So we've got to be able to bring the fight to them, because I know they're going to bring that, and they're going to be running and chasing and fighting and all this other stuff, and then we just got to turn it into a soccer game. It's going to probably look like a typical Sunday game, where you're going to have to play a lot of people, just based on the energy that was put forth in yesterday's matches. And so hopefully our depth will come through and help us out to another victory, but it's going to take the entire team. And I would assume for them the same, where they're going to have to play a lot of people in order to get through the game and try to get a result and win a championship.
The number 7 ranked Frogs will see where they end up during the NCAA selection show on Monday at 3 p.m. They are expected to host the first round starting next Friday. More on our soccer Frogs next week as they look to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. We will be right back with Gracie talking basketball and a new Frog fan, Baby Gronk. We will be right back.
You know, we wouldn't be able to do the things we were able to do this year without the Flying T Club. So we got to continue to get people involved. It's more important right now than it's ever been.
Flying T is special. It's the best thing that I've encountered in college. It allows us to be able to offset a lot of the costs that our scholarships aren't able to cover. If people like winning, invest in the Flying T Club and NIL. This is really great for athletes and just for future students who want to come here and be a part of something special, and I just think it's great.
It just means a lot to us players to see all the sport, and it's huge.
We are back here at the Roxo Media House studios, and I'm Gracie McGovern, freshman with the women's golf team. Frog Madness is finally here, and it got kicked off at Dickey's Arena with our men's team in a charity exhibition game for Cook Children's Hospital against number 16 Arkansas. In dramatic fashion, defeated coach Calipari's team in the final seconds when Brennan Wenzel pushed the Frogs ahead by 1 with his corner 3 with 5.9 seconds left and executed perfectly to pull off the upset, 66-65. Head coach Jamie Dixon and Ernest Uday Jr., with 13 points and 8 rebounds, talked about the execution down the stretch.
Throughout the entire game, from the opening tip, there's emphasis on staying focused. I tell my team all the time, up 50, down 50, like the message can't change, emotions can't change. You saw when I got that turnover, I for sure got in my head, and my teammates had my back, told me to keep my head up. And going into that play, the main thing is just execute. We're not going to drop anything special. We know everything works if we just execute it the right way.
Really proud of our guys. We had a great 10 days of practice, and how we responded down the stretch really showed out. I mean, after that timeout, our execution, and I think it was down 13 if I have it right. I mean, our execution was about as good as it could be offensively, especially, and plays out of the timeout. Great execution, and then just went on a run after it, just found it, just kind of stuck with it.
Razorbacks head coach John Calipari complimented the Frogs following the exhibition.
Well, first of all, give TCU credit. They fought like crazy. We had every chance to win the game at the end. They made the plays and we didn't. We took tough shots, and they were trying to get fouled and get to the rim. I've got to do, my challenge will be, all right, let's learn how to win. We took a 1-on-3 shot with the ball up. We took a 3 from our 5-man who's, what would you do that for? We turn it over on a lob because we look away and we throw it. So I got work to do. But the only way I would know it is in a game like this. That was great for us. And I think it was great for Jamie. That's what this is supposed to be when you do these kind of things. Both teams walk away knowing, and the same with us in Kansas. You walk away knowing, okay, we got a chance, but these are some holes. We've had 5 guys practice until the last few days, so the situational work we haven't done. It's not, I can't blame the players. We didn't look organized. We didn't get the kind of shots you need to get to win a game. The ball didn't go to where it needed to go. We didn't pass enough. I mean, there was when we moved the ball, we looked good, but we had guys holding the ball. So a lot of work to do, and they kind of hit us in the mouth, which was, okay, what are we going to be?
This momentum carried into their home opener on Monday night in a dominating performance over Florida A&M, 105-59. Led by Vashon Elette with 20 points, the Frogs were 11 for 16 from deep, totaling 14 for the game. Elette, along with Jace Posey and Frankie Collins, spoke with the media after the game.
I mean, it felt amazing, you know. It's my first time playing a home game at TCU, and just the environment, I felt like it was a home away from home, and I'm psyched to play here again.
Same, man. It was great playing there, you know, playing first game with the guys. We've been practicing really hard all summer, so just going out there and getting our first game in, it was great.
Yeah, this is also my first game playing at TCU, so this was a fun and cool atmosphere to be a part of, and I'm excited to do it again.
I mean, it shows how unselfish we are as a team. It shows that we trust each other, you know, whether it's a lob, whether it's off a catch-and-shoot three, or even somebody creating on their own. So it just shows how much we trust each other and how much coach is on us about, you know, playing together and not playing selfish. So.
Yeah, like to touch on what he said, we just have a lot of trust in each other, you know. Even in the couple of exhibition games we've been playing, like basically everybody's played, you know, our team's so deep. So it's like, there's never a person who's like, maybe I shouldn't pass to him. We all can do it.
Oh, I love defense. I enjoy playing it. I hate getting scored on. I love getting stops. It's just, you know, sometimes and people don't even consider me as a top defender in the country. I think I am one of the top defenders in the country. So, you know, just me going out there and, you know, think about that every night, that regardless, I'm going to have to go out there and prove myself on the defensive end and be a dog. And also it helps, you know, the other guards, if they see me pressuring the ball up there, I mean, it's going to make them want to do the same.
Good start. Obviously, the number stands out. Bingo and Chris Blake pointed out on the show, 29 assists, and I think it's actually 5 turnovers rather than 6. That's a pretty remarkable number. Obviously, the assist number is a big part of who we are and what we got to be. And an emphasis this year has been turnovers, cutting them down. We were not good last year. It's the worst probably we've ever had. And we fixed, we've been good. We've been remarkably good in the first 2 scrimmages and exhibitions. And now this game's another good. So we've worked on it. We've emphasized it. And so it's a good start.
And now to the women, following up the men on Tuesday night with a home opening win of their own despite a slow, nervous start. The Frogs handled Houston Christian easily, 78-41, forcing a record 36 turnovers and a 17-0 run in the second quarter. Sedona Prince, starting her final collegiate season, had a team high of 29 points. Head coach Mark Campbell, starting his second season leading the Horned Frogs, talks about his star center in the opening game.
Well, glad to get that first one under our belt, and there was clearly some first game jitters. We're one of the best shooting teams in the country, and we couldn't throw it in the ocean from the three-point line tonight, but I loved the energy. I loved on the defensive end the way this group pressed and was active and in passing lanes and playing 94 feet. And that's what we want to do this year, which is a lot different than our style of play a year ago. And so we ended up forcing 36 turnovers, which I know we didn't do that a year ago. So really, really proud of this group. And we got a lot of things to clean up. But for game one, we're off to a good start. Yeah, Sedona's a matchup problem. And I loved how she imposed her will today. They didn't have anybody that could match up with her around the basket. And as the game got going, she got comfortable out on the perimeter and hit some shots. And but she imposed her will down there around the rim, which there's a lot of games she's going to be able to do that. But she's a unique matchup because she can play inside and out. And she's a veteran. This group's old, you guys. And so there was no panic as you got off to a slow start. It was just steady and consistent, I think, for 40 minutes of just keeping a healthy pressure on them.
Haley Van Lith, also in her final collegiate season, combined with Prince for the game's first 18 points, finishing with 21 of her own.
We got a lot of clean looks. We can shoot. The unique thing about our team is, like, all 5 players out on the court can shoot the 3. And, you know, the stats don't show that this game, but any 3 with our feet set is a good look for anyone on our team. And so, you know, we have faith in that shot, and we're going to continue to shoot it. Yeah, I thought we got great shots. And, again, first time playing together in an official game. It happens. I bet our next game, a lot of people will be more comfortable. but I liked a lot of our looks.
It's a long year, according to Campbell. His message to the team before the game.
Yeah, the first one is it's a long year. We learned that last year. And over the course of a season, it's 30, 35 games. There's all sorts of twists and turns. And so this is one game on our journey. And so go out and have fun. One, you learned last year from injuries, value every opportunity that you get to go play this game. It goes really quick. And so that was one of the messages, is truly have fun and enjoy it. And two, you guys, we're still trying to figure out our best rotations and our subbing pattern. And so everybody's got to be ready every game. And so I think they did. Everybody that stepped on the court today was locked in and played with great energy. Even Ella, she had her Euro step, finish, floater, teardrop. But I'm really proud of this group and the way we competed.
The energy playing for 94 feet was clearly the identity of this team going forward. The Frogs limited the Huskies to 30% shooting, 15 for 50 on the night.
We need to wear on teams and make it hard and uncomfortable, and you want to play fast. I think one of our strengths with this year's team is to get the game going up tempo. I think our guards are so talented in the open court. You're not going to force 36 turnovers very many games, but you can create pace, and that's what we want, is to create a healthy pace. And so, again, we got a lot of things to clean up, but I'm just proud with the effort before the game. Let the team know that it's okay to make mistakes, but we're going to make it because we're going full tilt, and they did that. They just needed to slow down a little bit on their three-point shots.
Van Lith, an experienced youngster, sophomore Donovan Hunter, talked about the overall performance following the game.
I mean, for me, my shots still weren't falling, and I think personally as a player, if I focus more on the defensive end, then offense starts to pick up, or at least sets a tone for the team. So I just focused on that. Everyone was starting to get a lot of tips and deflections, and I think that's when everyone was getting a lot more like transition points. So
Yeah, I think we picked the press up a little bit. And we are older, but this is our first game together, our first real game as a team, and we're trying to learn each other. Obviously we were a little nervous. We missed a lot of shots we normally make. I don't think we'll ever go, 3 for 21 from the three. Like, that will never happen again. So, we were obviously nervous, but we did a good job of creating easy offense with turnovers, and we had an advantage in the post with Sedona. Physically, they couldn't match up with her, so we took advantage of it, and we got easy points. I'm happy with where we're at. Chemistry is one of those things where it kind of takes time to tell. But like you said, we're all very, high character individuals. We all get along really well. The funny thing is we don't have practice players, so we play each other in practice every day. So it's actually fun to get to go and all be on the same team. So that's kind of new for us. So we're gonna our joy and our excitement for each other is gonna keep building, because we actually don't get to play with each other in practice all the time. We play against each other. But no, I'm excited to see how our chemistry grows, but I'm also very happy with where we're at right now.
with the offensive end, it's really just letting the shots fall. They'll fall eventually. Just focusing on the little aspects of defense, working in the press, the little small gray areas that we still have, building the chemistry, just getting more comfortable. I think first game, it really is a lot of nerves and adrenaline that just make the tiny mistakes happen. So I think in practice, just continue to do what we've been doing and then just get ready for Sunday.
Van Lith in this high-pressure defense had a career-high 6 steals with the team with a total of 18.
You know, I really worked hard last year, last season, this summer, 3-on-3 defensively. I've worked hard this offseason, this preseason with this team. I think I have an untapped level that I've never really been pushed to show. And I'm really the good thing with this team is I have so many skilled players around me that I can gamble because I don't have to carry the load offensively. I don't have to save my energy to go take tough shots. So I'm really excited for that. I personally don't really think I played that well this night. But for me, defense was something that I could control, and it kind of got me going, got my feet under me a little bit. So I'll take 6. Hopefully I get it again Sunday. I'll take it.
Women's basketball gained a new fan in attendance Tuesday night, baby Gronk, and a 12-year-old football sensation is also into women's basketball.
I wanted to see Haley play because she's good, and I want to see if my sister can be good as her.
Gronk is excited about his 7-year-old sister and her love for the game as well.
She wants to be a WNBA player, and she plays basketball.
Gronk's dream is to play in the NFL and talks about the sport he loves so much, football.
This is my first time at TCU. I play in Ponder by Denton. I have a full season right now. I'm in playoffs right now. It's just so fun to play. It's just so many good things about it. I want to make it to the NFL and be a Hall of Famer.
The Frogs are in action Sunday against New Orleans at 2 p.m. Tickets are $5 on FB Bounce Back Day and post-game autographs. Before we go to commercial, Baby Gronk has a message. More TCU sports when we return.
Follow us on Frogs Today on Instagram and X for all your TCU sports updates. I'm Baby Gronk.
Welcome to the Squire Shop. We are locally owned and operated since 1994. We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service. We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that. We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Welcome back, Frog fans. Triathlon is currently in Claremont, Florida in their last race of the season at the National Championships. Last year, they finished 6th, and this year, what is the expectation according to head coach Jenny Garrison?
As the season has transpired, it's gone really well. We're excited for it. I feel like every year that we go by, we as coaches learn so much about the young women, how to work with them, how to build and recruit. And every year is definitely getting better and better. It's been a great experience, and we're really excited for nationals, and we're exciting for our recruiting class for next year. And I think every year is going to get better and better. We're going into this nationals ranked 5th. I think that if it's just such a funky sport, I think if everything went great, we definitely have a chance of being on the podium, of being 3rd. But I think the teams that are 3rd through 5th are almost the same. So it really just depends on how it plays out. I'm most looking forward to seeing our young women see the best in themselves, like to find out what they can believe in and what they can push themselves to be. And I think every year we do that, we build on that, and we recruit even better and better every year. And it's fun to see how that is building up in these young women. It is truly the best kind of age to coach and see, and it's why we do it. So that's what I'm most looking forward to. I think we have couple girls that are young women that are truly on the precipice of truly believing in their abilities, and that's really when you see huge things happen, and I'm really excited for that.
Due to the hurricanes that came through Florida last month, the race will look a little different.
So what happened this year with the hurricane, I'm not sure if you even know about this, is the hurricane destroyed the area that our course is going to be on in Claremont, Florida. So originally about 3 weeks ago, like a week after the hurricane, I think everybody started to go, oh, okay, this might not happen the way we thought. So the boardwalk by the beach that we're going to use is not feasible to use for a mass quantity of people. And the beach is kind of ruined. Like all the public beaches and state parks in Florida right now, I think are kind of shut down until next year. So the beach that we're supposed to use is not usable. Just as of Friday last week, they moved our swim to this tiny private pond to use, but it's actually going to be done on Friday. So the swim portion, this is really strange, but it's done on Friday, and the bike and run will be Saturday. So the girls will do an open water swim Friday. They'll get a time for that swim. Depending on their time is how they'll run barefoot into transition to get on the bike on Saturday. It's never been done. I've never seen it in all my years of coaching and racing, that this kind of thing. Hopefully we never have to do it again. So it's going to be kind of odd and weird. We just tried to avoid doing a duathlon where it was a bike run, just because that would totally change the results. This is still going to change the results and probably create a different race. I'm not sure. Part of me feels like it's probably taking away from the swimmers by creating that break between the swim and the bike run on Saturday. So it's just going to change the tactics of the race a lot.
Lots to prepare for as they make their way to Lots to prepare for as they make their way to Florida with equipment, gear, and all the above.
So we have 7 girls compete, but we're bringing 2 alternates just because this has been, there's just so much in the air. Like if they end up, the water quality isn't great because it hasn't been great. If they end up putting it to a pool swim, that's a different kind of swim and a different athlete. If they make it a duathlon, that really does change our roster a lot. So we needed to bring 2 extra girls. So we have 9 bikes we're traveling. We are bringing 4 staff. Not only bikes, you have trainers that you hook up the bikes to. You've got all the nutrition stuff. You've got all of their equipment, multiple shoes and bike shoes and helmets. We bring all the tools and extra, bike components that go with it. And then the stuff for heat training. It's a lot of equipment. We have a lot of bags. So when we get there, we have 3 minivans that we rent, possibly have to get a last minute 4th. Usually we can get 3 to 4 bikes in a minivan and, packed up. It's usually like playing Jenga. It's really interesting. We can usually fit 4 people, 3 to 4 people and 3 bikes in a minivan with seatbelts. So yeah, it's 3 to 4 cars that we will need to rent to get there. It's just like a 12-passenger wouldn't work because you can't fit bikes in them because of the seats. So yeah, we put the seats down in a minivan and roll them in and all that. It's Jenga for sure.
Triathlon competed in 4 races this year, finishing first in 2 of them and second and third in the other 2. They have traveled to South Dakota, Pittsburgh, and California this year.
Decided before the season started, Kurt and I decided that we wanted to create more racing opportunities for our girls within the college season. It hasn't really transpired that way with college triathlon racing, where teams are really investing in racing a lot. So that's something that we tried this year for the first time, was to have a race every couple of weeks and have opportunities for the girls to compete and actually work on ranking points, which some teams just race one time before nationals, like fully. It's nuts. So that's kind of what we really put a lot of focus on, which I think helped us build a great culture and helped us see how the girls work together traveling and at home. And yeah, it was really a lot of fun, and it was a good way to see, how they can handle the stress of racing.
We wish the triathlon ladies good luck at the Natties today. Now on to the men's tennis news. The reigning national champion is hosting the inaugural ITA Central Sectional Championships, which began yesterday and will conclude on Sunday. The event represents the last chance for players to qualify for the NCAA Individual Championships. Pedro Vives and Louis Maxted both qualified in singles, and the rest would look to do the same this week.
TCU men's golf finished 6th at the Kaanapali Classic in Maui, delivering their best performance at 13 under in the final round, 32 under for the tournament. Jack Beecham led the team to a tie for 5th place overall with a career-best 12 under in 7th place. Joe Pagden finished in the top 15 at number 14 individually. TCU diver Anna Kwong has been named the Big 12 Diver of the Week, marking her 2nd conference honor this season. Last weekend against Arkansas, Kwong set season best, winning the 1-meter dive with a 27-point lead and finishing 2nd in the 3-meter, just 4 points behind the top spot. The TCU dive team returns to competition next weekend at the Texas Diving Invitational in Austin from November 15th to the 17th. From the pool to the beach, the Sandy Frogs are preparing for the AVCA Pairs National Championship next week, and head coach Hector Gutierrez talks about the fall season so far and what to expect out of nationals next week.
Yeah, great fall so far. As you and I were speaking off camera before, there's a lot of games now in the fall for us. So our sport is changing really fast, and now we have a lot of opportunities to play during the fall. And with that being said, we don't have to play with all the teams on our squad. We can send pairs only if we want to. So we can play more weekends. So that's what we've been doing, and a lot of schools are doing. So you can see us more busy this fall and the coming falls. And it's been great because, we have 4 freshmen plus 1 transfer, 5 new people on the team. So we're trying to, watch them play and then the higher competition, see how with others do. Plus, of course, the seniors that we have on the team. So we're mixing pretty much everybody up and to give them some experience and also to learn from the older girls with more experience and they have been in those situations before. And also to see what teams we come up with, because during the season, you can have a lineup later in your head, but there's injuries. There's like a lot of stuff that we need. Now is the time to play with those partners in case something happens, someone not perform as well as you wanted. So we're doing that as well, not just seniors and freshmen. It could be a lot of those because it's for the experience, but also, like as I said, in case something doesn't go our way and they need to at least have some playing experience between those two. We won last year. The year before we were in the finals, and of course, this year the bar has been raised so much because we have so many good teams that they're on that level or higher, and it's really hard to pick only 4. But as I said, it's a really good problem to have. It's going to be a decision that we have to make, and we have 2 more weeks of training. And the most important thing, they're ready mentally. And they understand that, hey, it is hard this year for the ones who are going to stay back and the guys going to go. It is really tough, and but they're still competing for the spot. So that's awesome.
Frogs on 3, 1, 2, 3. Frogs, one team. We wish everyone good luck this weekend. Thanks for joining us today. Stay connected with all of TCU athletics right here at Frogs Today for original content. For our TCU women's golf team, I'm Kirstin Angosta.
For everyone here at Roxo Media House, for Frogs Today, I'm Gracie McGovern. This has been Frogs Today for Friday, November 8th. Thanks for watching. Go Frogs!
Roxo Media House.